Jack's Marin didn't believe in fate, only in credit scores, ship fuel, and the sting of unpaid debts. His cargo hauler, the Larkspur, was a patchwork of stolen tech and patched thrusters, perfect for slipping through the customs nets of the outer rings. He was en route to Velos Prime, the richest planet in the Rovan system, where even the air smelled like old money and corruption. All he needed was to collect a gambling debt from a nobleman named Duke Caravan, rumored to own half the moon mines and all the vices in orbit. The job was supposed to take 10 minutes. In, out, collect, gone. But the message from his contact, a smuggler named Rilo, had been strange. Careful, Jax. The Duke's been losing more than cards lately. He's losing control. His wife's not even from the system. Jax didn't care about noble gossip. He just wanted his 200,000 credits. When he landed on Velos Prime, the port attendant scanned his ID chip with suspicion. Humans weren't welcome here. Most of the nobility were alien hybrids with more tentacles than morals. The Duke's estate loomed over the neon capital like a black crown, guarded by drones shaped like winged statues. A servant led Jax through echoing marble halls that smelled faintly of ozone. "Stay close, human," the servant hissed. The Duke disliked strays. Jax smirked. "Don't worry. I bite harder than I bark." He was led into a grand chamber, gold arches, glass floors, and a massive circular table covered in holographic cards. The Duke sat at the center, eyes half-lidded, scales glimmering beneath his velvet cloak. His pupils were vertical slits, cold and calculating. "Ah, the collector," Kara said, swirling his drink. "I was wondering when my little debt would come crawling." 200,000, Jack said, tossing the ledger chip onto the table. "With interest." The Duke smiled with teeth too sharp to be friendly. "You came all this way for scraps?" Jack shrugged. "Scraps pay fuel bills." But then, movement caught his eye, a figure standing silently near the balcony. She was tall, silver-skinned, with eyes that shimmered like starlight reflecting off ice. A faint pattern of bioluminescent lines ran down her arms. Even from across the room, Jax could tell she wasn't from this planet. The Duke noticed Jax's gaze and grinned wider. "Ah, you admire my prize? She's not for trade." Jax looked away. Not interested. But that wasn't true. He was interested, not in her beauty, but in the sadness behind her stillness. Something about her posture screamed trapped. Middle, the debt and the deal. The Duke tapped a finger against the ledger chip. "I'll pay your credits, human, but you'll earn them the old-fashioned way." Jax frowned. "I don't play games." "Oh, but that's exactly why I like humans," Kara purred. "You think survival is not a game. Sit. Play one hand. If you win, you get double your fee. If you lose," the Duke's grin widened, "you work it off of my mines." Jax hesitated. He'd seen people lose more than money in games like this. But refusing could mean death, and Karatha's guard were already watching him closely. He sat. The holographic cards materialized in the air, glowing, shifting symbols of alien suits. The game was Vexra, a mix of logic and luck, popular among off-world aristocrats. The first hand went well. Jax bluffed hard, drew a wild sigil, and won the round. The Duke hissed softly, not angry but intrigued. "Impressive. You play like someone who has nothing to lose." "Maybe I don't," Jack said. By the third hand, the Duke's temper thinned. He slammed his palm on the table as Jax's final sigil burned bright. Another win. "Enough," Kareth roared. "Take your damn credits and get out." As Jax reached for the chip, something fell from the Duke's sleeve, a slave tag, metallic and humming faintly with neural energy. It rolled toward Jax's boot. He picked it up. The tag pulsed, and an ID appeared on the holographic readout. Name, Ilarivan. Species, Lithirian. Status, property. Jax looked up at her, the woman from the balcony. She didn't move, but her glowing eyes flickered for just a second, as if pleading. He realized then she wasn't the Duke's wife by choice. "You enslaved her," Jax said quietly. The Duke sneered. "She is my possession, human. A Lithirian debt paid in flesh. You of all people should understand the value of ownership. Something cold slid through Jax's chest. He collected debts all his life, repossessed ships, land, and freedom, but never a living being. He slid the tag into his pocket. Debt settled. I'll be leaving now. The Duke narrowed his eyes. Return the tag. Must have dropped in the shuffle, Jax said, heading for the door. Guard stepped forward, weapons charged. The Duke rose, tail lashing in fury. You'll die before you reach your ship. Jax didn't even turn. Maybe, but I've already won the only hand that matters. The escape and the choice. Outside, the storm raged, electric sand slicing to the dark skies of Velos Prime. Jax sprinted to the palace corridors, pulse pounding, the slave tag still hot in his hand. He didn't know why he was doing it. This wasn't his fight. He was supposed to collect debts, not rescue alien prisoners. But something about her, those quiet eyes, that strength hidden behind obedience, had struck something in him that hadn't stirred in years. As he neared the loading dock, a voice echoed from behind. You're going to get yourself killed. It was her, Illyra. She stood in the shadows, cloak drawn around her, the glow of her markings dimmed. Then come with me, Jax said. I can get you off-world. I can't. My tag is coded to his neural core. If I flee, it kills me. Jax held up the device. Then we break it. Her expression flickered between disbelief and hope. You can't. It's bound by a living contract. I've broken worse, he said. For a moment, neither spoke, the storm howling around them. Finally, she nodded. Follow me. They slipped through servant corridors into a laboratory chamber lined with biolocks and pulse generators. Illyra moved with purpose. She had been here before, probably the place where the Duke adjusted her obedience levels. This core links to the palace AI, she said. If we sever the neural chain, it will alert him instantly. Then we move fast, Jax said, cracking open a terminal. His fingers danced over the interface, rerouting energy flow and bypassing security firewalls. He'd hacked corporate safes, but never a living mind. The alarms began to shriek. 2 minutes, Illyra said, her voice trembling. He's coming. Jax overrode the final encryption. The tag beat 3 times and powered down. The collar around her neck clicked open, falling to the floor. Her knees buckled, and she gasped as if breathing for the first time. It's gone, she whispered. The link is gone. Then the doors exploded. The Duke stormed in, claws dripping energy, eyes glowing red. You dare defy me, human? Jax grabbed the nearest plasma cutter. She's free now. Try and take her back. The Duke lunged. Jax dodged, slashing with the cutter. Sparks flew, searing the Duke's arm. Illyra raised her hands, and blue light surged from her palms. Pure Letherian energy. The air rippled, slamming the Duke backward into a glass wall. He snarled, blood shimmering like mercury. You can't run forever. Watch us, Jax growled. They fled to the shattered hall, alarms blaring across the estate. Security drones ascended, firing stun bolts. Jax fired back with a stolen rifle, clearing a path toward the landing bay. By the time they reached the Larkspur, the ship's engines were already warming. Jax slammed the hatch shut as bolts struck the hull. Hold on, he shouted. The ship roared skyward, breaking through the clouds in a plume of light. The Duke's palace vanished beneath the storm, and with it, the life both of them had just burned behind, ending the price of freedom. Hours later, the Larkspur drifted in silent orbit above the stormy planet. The stars shimmered like distant witnesses. Illyra sat in the co-pilot's chair, wrapped in a blanket, watching the void. You shouldn't have done that, she said softly. He'll come for you. He always does. Jax leaned against the console, exhausted. He owed me money. Consider it interest. She smiled faintly, the first real smile he'd seen. You risked your life for a stranger. Maybe I'm getting sentimental. Or maybe, she said, you saw something worth saving. Silence hung between them. She reached into her cloak and pulled out a small crystal chip, This contains everything the Duke hid, his ledgers, bribes, and trade routes. If you sell it, you'll be rich enough to disappear. Jax shook his head. Keep it. You'll need it more. I have nothing left to buy, she whispered, except time. The ship's scanner beeped. Incoming signal. Jax frowned. Long-range transmission, encrypted under the Duke's code. Illyra's eyes darkened. He's alive. Jax cursed. He'll track us. Not if we track him first, she said, her voice hardening. There's a rebel colony on Kessa 4. They fight against slave systems. If we bring them this data, they can end his entire operation. Jax looked at her, no longer the quiet captive, but a woman reborn with purpose. He grinned. Guess that means we're partners now. Don't make me regret it, human. The ship jumped to hyperspace, streaks of starlight bending across the viewport. For the first time in years, Jax didn't feel like a man running from debts. He felt like a man chasing something worth dying for. Epilogue, a new hand dealt. Months later, whispers spread through the outer rings. A mysterious human and a silver-skinned Letherian were sabotaging slave networks, raiding Duke vessels, and erasing the debts that kept half the sector chained. No one knew their names, only the message they left behind, etched into every hack terminal they touched. Freedom isn't a debt to be collected. And on some forgotten moon, under the rust-colored light of twin suns, Jack sat at a new card table, shuffling a fresh deck. Illyra leaned beside him, her laughter soft and strange in the alien air. He smiled. Funny thing about luck, it always finds the ones who stop chasing it. And somewhere deep in space, the Duke's empire began to crumble, piece by piece, hand by hand. Jax had made a quick stop to collect a gambling debt. He left with a purpose, and an alien wife who'd taught him the one rule even the universe couldn't break. You can't own what's truly free.